Hey, what's going on guys? It's Will. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I made 17% breaking down AAPL on my phone using Robinhood. What's going on guys? It's Will and I'm on my phone, as you can see, breaking down AAPL. So first thing I'm going to go over is, you can see I got a stop loss sell set. That's because I already have my profits. I want to lock it in. As you guys can see, I'm up about 1.14% on the day and $238, about 17%. Let's take a look at Apple. So we're looking at the 1 day. We can see it made 1.05% today. Plus 0.09% in the after hours. So looking at the 1 week, yes, it is up about 0.55%, but the pattern that we see here is a consolidation pattern. Again, a consolidation pattern is going from left to right. Right, you see left to right, and it's not very it's not increasing in a price too much, and it's not decreasing in a price too much. It's mostly just going like up and down and up and down and up and down and up. And yeah, it's really cool when we see these, because this is the second stage to a reversal, or it's just going to consolidate and continue in the direction it was going before the consolidation. So let's just take a look at the 1 month. So on the 1 month, looks pretty good, about 4.89%. And we saw Apple definitely gain, and it's still kind of, it's not a huge uptrending pattern, but it is an uptrending pattern. So that is one reason that you may want to invest in it. And I chose to invest in this stock around $148. So that's going to be, you can see that on the 3 month. So yeah, looking at the technicals, the reason I decided to invest in Apple is because, first of all, Apple's a great company to invest in. Second of all, I saw it making lower lows, and I saw it getting, it got rejected on the 1 year. So you see how, you can see it clearer on the 5 year, how it was uptrending nonstop. It was kind of, it would make lows every once in a while, but overall, we see higher highs. And it kept making higher highs and higher lows until about the end of what seems to be September, and then it got rejected, and then we saw it drop. So I was keeping a close eye on Apple after I saw it get rejected, and waited for an opportunity to buy. And I got a great opportunity to buy, and that's why I made 17%. I was patient. I waited for the bounce, and I'll show you guys what I saw. So looking at the 3 month, you can see it was making lower lows. Right? So we have a low there, tried to come back up and consolidate it a little bit, dropped, found support at a lower low, couldn't break above that previous consolidation and continued down. And then we found support, bounced up, but still couldn't get back to where it was, where it previously consolidated a little bit. And then it dropped even more. And then it finally found support. And then, as you guys can see, it's been making higher highs and higher lows. It's the beginning of March, and it's been doing that ever since January 3rd. Okay, so really simple. What I saw here, guys, it's a good deal already. This company I already think was undervalued, right? Oversold. It's Apple. I'm doing this analysis from my Apple phone, and you may be watching this from an Apple phone as well. So they're a great company. As far as like their innovations and all those things. So you guys know Apple. And, the one thing I would say is that I waited for confirmation. That's why I made this percentage. So what I mean by waited for confirmation, as you guys know, previous supports act as resistance. So we saw right here that it was going down, and it kind of consolidated here. That's not to my surprise that it's also consolidating right here, right? Because this is about the same price point that we had the consolidation over here, okay? So it has repetition right there, consolidating. Now, previous supports act as resistance. This is a previous support, right? So when I saw that it broke above this previous support of $146, then I purchased this stock, and then I wrote it and I just kept my eye on it, and then it continued to push up. And then once I saw it get to that point where it was previously consolidating, now I'm looking at it and I got my stop loss set, because I know, this is the previous support. It's right there. I mean, it broke a little bit above it, but that general zone, it could get rejected and continue down. Looking at this, I didn't buy the stock with the thought that it could go up. Maybe I pulled the trigger a little early, but once I saw it break above that point, let me justify this. So you guys see, it's going up, right? It goes down, right? But it never recovers back to that previous point, right? So to put this a little more simpler, right? When you look here, it's like it's making a lower low, right? And then it tries to push up, but it never got back. It pushed up to here, but it never got back up to there, right? And then we see it, break down here, and then it pushed up, but it never got back to there. And then it broke down, and it pushed up, but it never got back to there. And then it broke down, and then we saw it break above this, and that was my indication that I thought it was a good deal. All right, so that's the technical analysis. Not too insane. Apple's a good company, and I'm going to get into some of the other stuff that made me want to buy Apple. The stats, I've gone on the stats in previous videos, and the biggest thing I would say, guys, is just, you want to get dividends usually. They pay 1.2 per share. So, I made some I got a dividend check at the end of this past earnings report. And then I also, or quarter, and then I also got, when you look at the, you want to pay attention to the volume. Volume does, that means a lot of people are investing in it. So if the volume's high, that also means a lot of people are seeing the news. And if a good news article comes out or a bad news article comes out, that's going to influence the price more, because you have so many people investing in it, so many people paying attention. And that's the amazing thing about Apple, guys, is you got articles coming out all the time. Every few hours there's an article, as you guys can see. And that's like one really good thing about investing in huge companies like Apple. And then one more thing on the stats, guys. The 52-week high, $233.47 you see there. That is a price point at which it's been rejected and hasn't hit that price point in the past year except for one time. So if it does get to that point, a lot of people are going to sell, right? So that's a good indication that when it gets to that price point, you may want to look to sell or lock in profits. Just lock in profits, set a stop loss, and then if it continues up, good. But if not, then you locked in profits, great, you got your profits, right? So 52-week low, same thing. You want to look at that. That's a repetition. It has repetition hitting that price point, so it makes sense that when it's around that price point, it may bounce, and you may want to possibly buy when it gets to that price point. Okay. So the news, I'm not going to go into it too much. You guys know when they come out with a good product, that usually is something you want to look at, that helps with your analysis. And of course, they got all the analysis of like earnings per share you can see, and why, the stock should be doing good or bad. And, these things are good. A lot of people view the Apple article. So when something really good comes out, that also means, a lot of people are viewing it, and it's going to influence the price. I know there's stocks out there that are like, maybe they're really great stocks and they're killing it on the news, but nobody's reading the news reports, or not a lot of investors even know. So the stock price, it's not congruent with the actual value of the company. But Apple, they get oversold and overbought every once in a while. But for the most part, people invest, it's not going to completely determine the price, but a lot of people invest based on the news. And 39 analyst ratings, so 39 people or analysts have analyze this stock. You see the buy, you see the hold and the sell. The reason it says hold usually is because you see consolidation. So they're looking at the consolidation. They see, that's some consolidation. It doesn't really have a direction too much of up or down as of the past week. Past month, it's a little up. I think that's why it's not only is Apple a good company, but the technicals also kind of point to it being a buy, right? Especially based on the past 3 months and seeing that recovery. But it says hold because you have this consolidation. So that's one thing to pay attention to. All right. So buy rating and sell rating really quick, guys. We think Apple is still innovating with introductions of Apple Pay, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and AirPods. Each of these could drive incremental revenue, but more crucially help to retain iPhone users over time. That's really true. And as you guys know, these things, they don't determine all the whole price of the stock or anything like that, or all the fluctuations, but they're important to look at. So let's look at the sell rating. If Apple were to ever launch a buggy software update or subpar services, it could diminish the firm's reputation for building products, that are just simple, maybe, or that just work. So if Apple were to ever launch a buggy software, which they haven't, as of right now, they're the leader, it could diminish the firm's reputation. So, as of right now, they're the leader. Not a lot of things are influencing that. Maybe they're not like the big leader. I think they are, but they are very influential, and they're not having any problems selling their products, right? So, earnings. Looking at the earnings, it's important to look at the expected EPS. They haven't come out with that because they just recently, recently came out with the last one. But you can see when they have the expected EPS on here, the earnings per share, if it looks lower than say like 400 not 400, if you see the expected earnings is say 4.0, okay, and then the actual EPS that comes out, as you can see in quarter one, they came out with 4.38 approximately. So that was really good for investors. And yeah, so it's just it's something that you want to keep an eye on. It doesn't tell you everything, but it can definitely, looking at the earnings, looking at other companies in the industry, if we just look at Starbucks even, it's probably kind of similar, not too similar, but let's look at a computer company like Microsoft. This is computer hardware. It seems like it's having some trouble loading. That's okay. Let's just see, I don't know, NVIDIA. All right, so yeah, it's pretty similar. You guys can see it's got overall uptrend, it got rejected, and now we see it trying to reverse. Interesting, when all these, you see the featured in, you got computer hardware, retail, 100 most popular in telecommunications, all those things, consumer products that are related to Apple. And you can see the companies of what other people bought. And guys, taking in consideration the other companies, right, how they're doing, and then the earnings reports, the analyst ratings, looking at that, the buy and sell ratings, and then also looking at the news, reading those, getting your own 2 cents on a few articles and getting a good grasp for what's going on with the company. And then also, looking at the stats, based on the high and the low and the volume and the dividends, like, is this a good stock? These things, all these things, right? Plus the technical analysis, I can absolutely identify good deals using this Robinhood app, and the tools are there. It's just what matters is your eye for value. If you have the eye for value, right, and you go in with the trading plan and you look at a stock and you see the risk with a lower risk than the potential for profit, and then you also have emotional intelligence, so you don't have a fear of missing out, and you don't buy with the thought that it could go up because you want to strike gold. You wait for confirmation and so many other things, but I cover them in my videos. And just using these tools, it's your eye for value, right? But it's also using these tools and being able to identify a good deal. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. If you have any suggestions for videos I should do in the future, just leave a comment down below. I'd love to get back to you guys with that. If you want a free ebook that has 7 tips on how to profit consistently using Robinhood, then you can get that ebook for free. The link is in the description. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can do that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next episode. Thank you so much. And investing in uptrends isn't always going to get you the desired result or profits that you want. Everybody knows you're not going to win on every single trade. But that brings us to tip number 2, which is why you want to go into a trade with a trading plan. You become an expert, you become good at it. You have to know as much as you possibly can about that subject before you enter that field.